Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video talking about all the reasons why road bikes aren't really suitable for touring. So I'm going to go through them with you here now. Right, so here's my CAD 10 road bike. It's running full Ultegra. Got the Ultegra brakes, Ultegra shifters, Ultegra cranks, and Ultegra rear derailleur, front derailleur as well. It's got the absolute black chain rings on it, 4630 with the elliptical, which worked out pretty good. It's got a Thompson seat post, and it's got the Brooks Cambium C17 saddle. So all in all, it's a pretty good setup. It's definitely a race geometry bike though. So if you look at the height of the saddle compared to the height of the bars, this stem has already actually been cut, so it's even lower than it would be from the shop. And this is like the first issue that I found with bike packing, is a road bike is a very aggressive bike because it's made to be keeping down out of the wind. It's made for shorter time in the saddle, and it's made for going fast and being aero. So that was my first big issue touring on a road bike, is that I found that sort of aero tucked position for long periods of time was just too uncomfortable. There's a lot of pressure on your hands, on the tops. Your back tends to get a little bit sore, and it's not very comfortable on the seat either. So this is the first issue I've found with touring on a road bike. Another issue that I've found is that the tyre clearance is pretty small. So right now I'm running 700C by 28mm tyres, and these are the biggest tyres I could get on this. Ideally for touring, 28s have been okay, but I think for a little bit more comfort I'd probably want to go to 32s just to have a little bit more cushion and comfort there. But if you're on a road bike, you just don't have the clearance. You can see on the back here too. You might get one on the back, really depends on that brake, but it'd be a pretty close one, and I really don't think it's going to fit there. You've also got to think about the clearance you have down at the chainstays as well. That's the second big issue I found with a touring bike. Another issue is there's nowhere to mount any racks. Unless you get a real low-end road bike, they're sort of made to do everything. A proper road bike doesn't have rear mounts for a rack. It doesn't have top mounts near the seat, and it has no front mounts, and they tend to have carbon forks as well. The CAD 10's an aluminium road bike, but most road bikes tend to be carbon, which brings me to another issue, is because you don't have any mounts for your racks, you've got to strap bags on like I have here, and that can be an issue with carbon because that's constantly rubbing the carbon, and it can damage the carbon and the paint. As well as that is, you've got the drops. Now these drops don't flare out or anything. The first problem with that is, again, because you don't have any mounts for a front rack, you're probably going to be running some kind of pack between the bars here. That's what I did, and it's a little bit tight to fit it between the drops. It would be easier if you had flare drops, and I'm definitely a fan of drop bars still, but to be honest, on tour I seldom use them. I probably use them only a couple of times a day, because it's just not really what you're doing. You don't really need to be getting aero and racy any of the time. So another issue I had on tour was the wheels not being strong enough, and I had a couple of spokes come loose. I didn't actually have any brake on the tour, but I did after I finished the tour, not that long after. So obviously with carrying the extra weight of your food and your clothes in your packs, the strength of the wheels is pretty important, and road wheels are made to be really light. The ones I've got on here now I actually just found on in a skip bin, I think, and I haven't actually been touring on these yet, but you can see this front one, especially the Bontrager, it's definitely not a touring wheel. There's not many spokes on there. And that brings me to another road bike issue, is the gearing's not right. Now you can see this is definitely not stock. It's an 11 speed 1140. And I've got the wolf tooth extender so that the road derailleur can run that cassette. And on the front I've got the 4630, and that gives me lower gearing for going up hills and stuff like that. Is it low enough for touring? I'd say not. I'd say ideally, if you're going to do it on a road bike, you need a mountain bike chain rings on the front and at least the 40 on the back. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Remember to give it a thumbs up, and yeah, let me know, do you like touring or bikepacking on a road bike, and what issues might have you had, and why do you like it, why don't you like it? So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.